Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. A genetic analysis of COVID-19 patients is suggesting that your blood type could affect your coronavirus risk. Scientists compared the genes of about 2,000 patients in Europe. They found that those who had type A blood were more likely to develop severe symptoms, while those with type O were less likely. The study doesn't prove a blood type connection, but researchers say it warrants further study. The report was published in the New England Journal of Medicine. With libraries in Alberta given the green light to reopen, there has been some confusion as to when the Lloydminster Public Library will reopen to the public. Chase Mackey spoke with the reference librarian for an update.
So I'm joined with Michelle Duchek from the Lloydminster Public Library. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today.
That's okay. Nice to be here.
So can you just fill me in on a little bit? A lot of people might be confused with libraries opening in Alberta, but Lloydminster following Saskatchewan's plan. How are things going at the library these days?
Well, we have been closed since the 16th of March to the public, although we have had staff in Monday through Friday from the beginning. We had actually all the staff in just for a couple of days, but then some chose not to come in and they are working from home. We're keeping busy. We have taken the opportunity to do an inventory of the collection. We're also thinning out the collection in certain areas and it's nice to do it without the interruptions of these kind of tasks. They're big tasks, so you want to sort of do them and not be interrupted. But we miss our people. We miss the public a lot. We do talk to some of them on the phone. We answer emails. So we're here Monday to Friday from 10 till 6 by phone, and then we do answer emails throughout the day as well.
So have you been getting a lot of people calling in to ask questions and to talk with the
Not so much. It's really, 2 or 3 calls a day sometimes. In the beginning, when some of the calls I take, we would chat because especially during the beginning where people were sort of getting used to the fact that they weren't going out, that there was nothing open. We would chat a little bit, sort of a little bit of contact outside of the people in your house was always good. Now that more and more things are opening up, I think people are less stir crazy. Although some of them are still not going out. We know that.
Yeah. And with the Reopen Saskatchewan plan, do you foresee a future of the library possibly opening in down the road to the public?
We are looking at it. Right now, according to the Saskatchewan plan, we are phase 4, part 2. Phase 4, part 1 starts Monday, the 22nd, is my understanding. There is no date set for part 2. But when we do get into phase 4, part 2, we're not just going to throw open the doors and say, come on in. Like everyone else, we are going to be doing different processes. We're also like the province. We'll do a phased reopen. We'll start with certain things and move on and gradually open up more and more. We will require, because every time someone touches, say, our equipment, then when they leave, it has to be cleaned. We have to also make sure we have all the supplies in place for us to do in-person contact with the public. We also have to work on processes to make sure that not only is the public safe, but that the staff is safe as well. So we've been busy, and we have a plan, because we always have a plan. We just need some data, and we have been consulting with not just the city, following health guidelines, but we're also consulting with the library community in Saskatchewan to see how this is going to happen in various places. So we do still accept returns because people have always been asking. And every day we empty our book drop. We then quarantine the books for a few days just to be on the safe side. We are following industry guidelines about how long we have to sort of quarantine the books. And that's so you can return a book today. We're not actually going to return it for a few days. But on the other hand, all your books are not due back until the 2nd of July.
And then
if we're not open, then we will extend the due date again.
Okay. And then for people who are at home and they don't have a book out or they're interested in what other resources they might be able to access through the Lloydminster Public Library, is there anything that people can access virtually at this time?
We have had for several years a whole suite of online resources, and they were available for free with your library card, and that was ebooks and audiobooks and newspapers and magazines and some movies and stuff that you had to have a library card. And when we were open to the public, you had to come in and get a library card in person, because there were some people wanting to take advantage of the virtual resources. They can fill out a form. There's a link on our site. Within a couple of days, we'll give you a virtual card that is only good for the virtual stuff. You can, once we're then open, come in and get a full card that allows you to access the physical resources as well. So we're trying to make it available. So we've had a few people do that as well. A lot of our phone calls are, now I have this card, or I've always had a library card, but I've always borrowed physical. I've heard about ebooks. How do I do it? And so we've been helping people get set up with our services. We have 2 audiobook services, one called Overdrive and one called Hoopla. We also have Flipster for magazines, and we have Press Reader for newspapers. And so you can get your reading in. And we also, on our social media, we provide links to other things that are of interest, not just community information, but resources that you can look at online for various things. So we're trying to keep people still connected, which is what we do.
And is there anything else you want to talk about before we leave regarding the library?
Well, one thing we have coming up, and we're still working out the last of it for registration purposes, is that every year we'd have a summer reading club. It was a national thing, the TD Summer Reading Club. They've gone virtual this year, and they can sign in online and do stuff, and there'll be all sorts of online stuff. We also hope to make a registration within our library available so people can sign up online to the club, but also to us, because we've got a lot of stuff we've got a lot of giveaways, and they'll be giving away a whole bunch of library swag over the summer to people who participate. And as we gradually open, we might be able to pass on some of other stuff to people. And we're hoping that people will soon be able to borrow in some way from our physical collections, but until then they can still take advantage of our electronic stuff. And they gotta stay tuned for the summer reading club, because it's all about play and games.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Hoping to have a good time.
Perfect. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today.
Oh, you're welcome. And thanks for letting us sort of spread the word about, yes, we're not physically open, but we're still here.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Welcome back. A podcast hosted by 2 guys from Australia is growing in popularity. Once When I Was Cool focuses on nostalgia from the 1980s. Stacey Comer caught up with the host to find out more.
Well, I'm pleased to be joined on Primetime Local News today by, I guess I'm almost in the future talking to the 2 of you from the Once When I Was Cool podcast. We have Dave and Wee with us today. Thank you. It's 6 a.m. your time, and you got up to talk to us. Oh, we really, really appreciate it.
G'day, and thank you for having us along. We would have got up at 2 a.m. for the opportunity. We really appreciate it, the opportunity to get our word out there and our sultry voices. We just hope if you do have any listeners, we hope we're just not disappointing in the flesh. And I know that with podcasting, you develop an image of what you think people might look like. So I hope we're not too disappointing.
Well, just like working in radio, sometimes too, they say, geez, you sound a lot taller. So now
I never sound a lot taller.
The secret's out now. Dave and we know what you look like. The voice behind the Once When I Was Cool podcast, which basically focuses on the 80s and what a great decade that was, and just bringing back memories. And I want to first talk about how you got started with this, because you're both in the healthcare profession and have no real broadcasting background at all. So if one of you wants to take the lead and answer, how did you start the podcast? How did the idea come about?
Well, we're both, when we say we're in healthcare, we're both registered nurses, and we've both been nursing for nearly 30 years now. And I moved from my comfort zone in Brisbane in Queensland and moved down to Hobart in Tasmania. And part of being a nurse is when you have, at the end of every shift, when you have a changeover of shift, you have to count the drugs of addiction. And during this count one, I said 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they went, like the count from Sesame Street. And this young girl just looked at me and had no idea what I was talking about. So at that point, I realized, wow, I'm not as cool as I used to be, or I'm not as cool as I think I am, and I can't relate to these people. So it was sort of born out of there, and it was sort of 18 months of discussion backwards and forwards. And I discussed with a guy that I work with, whose name is Simon, and he's our producer, and he's the third part of Once When I Was Cool. He's the real driving force that gets us out on the air. And then I had a discussion with who I'd known for a long time, and we both had similar sorts of thoughts, so we thought we'd get it going.
Well, now maybe I'll throw this one over to you and just talk about the topics that you guys pick. Did you sit ahead of time and come up with a list of things, or was it just, well, let's talk about this today and this is what we'll go with?
Well, we did put some ideas backwards and forwards, and we'd send notes to each other. Oh, what about this and what about that? Sometimes I do get a surprise. I think we're doing one thing and I'll get something else coming. But as you probably realise, we talk about what we have done and what we experienced when we grew up in both sort of similar eras, but on different spectrums. Dave was at the coast. I was in a small country town. So from that point, we just knocked ideas backwards and forwards, and then we go pick a topic. We do limited sort of research, and we say that a lot. We do very limited, if any.
He does,
but
not me.
But it's more about our experiences, and I tell stories about when I was growing up, the same as what Dave does, and we just throw it backwards and forwards, and that's where it really comes from, and it just brings up memories. Even people that listen to it go, "Oh, you're so right. Oh, what about this? Do you remember this? And do you remember that?" And my brother, who's really been my test dummy in life, goes, "I forgot about that until I remember that. I can't believe you did that to me." So.
Well, and just it is really relatable, especially for anybody who was growing up during the 70s and the 80s specifically, talking about the different haircuts. And I know you mentioned like having a rat tail with a flat top and, talking
and a
about
frullet.
Yeah, right. And, talking about cassettes and, there's maybe something, I don't know if people in the millennial age group would maybe understand, but people in my age group, it's like you said, you listen to it and it brings back the memories. Have you had quite a good response from people just talking about, oh, hey, like you said with your brother, I remember this, and then they send in ideas, maybe talk about this, talk about that. Have you had quite a favorable response?
We've had some pretty good response, and as we said, it's more the people that say, "Oh yeah," and essentially what it comes down to is it's a conversation for us, and it's nostalgia, and that's what we aim for. Is we want people to just think, "Oh yeah, I remember that," and there are things that we don't remember as well. Our 50th episode just aired, and we did BMX bikes, and it's been our bestseller. It aired 2 weeks ago, and it's been our most downloaded podcast to date. And that was from a fan submission. We just put it out on Facebook and said, if anyone's got any ideas, let us know. And we hadn't considered it at all. So it's great we try and get as much fan in. Well, I say fan, but it's, listener. I don't know if anyone's a big fan of this lot, but we just try to get as much engagement as we can. And just if people listen to us and go, "Oh, that's right," to be able to do that. And we do get, that's the sort of feedback we do get.
So what is the goal for you guys with this? Is it something that you're going to make long-term? Is it something that we just have, a limited edition? You're going to stop at a certain point, or is it as long as you're having fun, you're just going to keep going?
As long as we're having fun, I think we're going to keep going. And that's been the whole drive, I think, behind this as well. It's about us just putting our ideas out there and having people listening to it and relating to it, triggering some hopefully mostly fond memories. I think it's, and as long as we can still put up with each other, Dave and I think it'll be okay.
We've had that question asked a few times actually, and people say, oh, you know, you can go and put ads in, and you can try and monetize it, but it's not really about that for us. We don't do it for as a business. We have jobs, and we're fortunate in this climate to still have permanent jobs that we don't need to monetize it. And I think it comes across better without the advertising. Not to say that we wouldn't do it. But it's just our memories, and it's just a conversation between us, and we're just grateful that people will listen. We keep it at a length of try and keep it between 20 and 30 minutes, which is a commutable length, so that people can listen on their way to or from work. And hopefully that gives somebody a brighter start to the day, thinking about the things that they used to do and the things they used to know, and things that aren't there anymore that we still love and we still wish were here, but, you know, for better or for worse, the world's moved on, and hopefully we can still hang on to it in some kind of way. So whatever we're happy, we'll keep doing it.
Well, I just want to thank you guys. I know in Australia and Tasmania that it's obviously very early in the morning, but you took the time to chat with us. And I find it's a nice break from the reality, especially if things going on now. I can plug it in, like you said, on the way to work, on the way home, and it's, you know, you're thinking about other things. So thank you guys for doing this. I just think it's a great thing. And for people who are looking for more information, or if they want to talk about topics or look for the podcast, what's the best way to do that?
Probably
I'll let Dave do that.
Yeah, we's not good at it at all. The best way to get in touch with us is through our website, which is oncewascool.com, or via our email, which is oncewascoolpodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, reach out to us on Facebook. We've got a page there that's called Once Was Cool Podcast. That's where we let everyone know about our upcoming episodes and anything that we've got. We're trying to improve our social media, and we've got somebody behind us boosting us and helping us with that at the moment. It's my niece. So it's an all family affair at the moment from my end. But yeah, just send us an email. We'd love to hear from anybody who's interested.
All right. Well, thank you guys once again. And I guess now you can go about your day, and I'll keep listening. Like I said, it's a nice break from reality and just bringing back some good memories, maybe some not so good when you're talking about haircuts and fashion and that sort of thing.
I think it's still fashionable.
Yeah. And they were great at the time.
Well, good luck with the podcast going forward. And again, thank you for chatting with us today.
Great, Stacey.
Thanks
Thank you very much.
us.
Thanks again for having us.
Now for this week's edition of What's Open, here's Heather Klages.
Father's Day is coming up on Sunday, and I certainly hope you're as fortunate as I am to have a dad who makes me feel like a princess every single day. So this is the time to get your dad that perfect Father's Day gift, so you gotta come to Wildside Outdoors. They've got so many great things that your dad is going to love. If he loves to go hunting, he loves archery, he loves to go fishing, they have got a great selection of different gifts for your dad. So come in and see them. You're gonna find them on Highway 16. They're open Monday to Saturday, 9 to 6, or you know what? Give them a call, 780-870-5200. They can walk you through the great selection of items they've got here and help you pick out that perfect Father's Day gift. And if Dad loves the great outdoors, he probably would love to relax in a new recliner. And you can get those at Furniture Gallery or Furniture House in downtown Lloydminster if you're looking for a great gift for Dad this Father's Day. If your dad loves to use his smoker, maybe he loves to fire up the barbecue and grill, well, at Wildside Outdoors, they've got different rubs, different flavors that your dad will absolutely love. And also Beachcombers here in Lloydminster, they've got fire tables, patio furniture, great gift ideas for dad like that. And if you're hoping to really get connected with dad this year, Sabre Communications, they have tablets, they have smartphones, they've got great gift ideas for your dad this Father's Day as well. Get your ticket now for the Dirt Rich Band Drive-In concert coming up next Thursday night in the parking lot at the new Lloydminster Nissan. Special guest Jordan Pollard will be a part of the show. And when you get your vehicle pass, all proceeds raised go to Big Brothers Big Sisters here in Lloydminster. So swing by the new Lloydminster Nissan and get that vehicle pass today. Well, we hope you have a great weekend. We hope you stay safe and stay healthy, and happy Father's Day.
What's Open is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Our Jace Mackey and Evan Kenny sat down to chat about the most recent Hockey Hall of Fame news.
So Evan Kenny joins me. He's our sports guy, and we're here for a little bit of talk about the Hockey Hall of Fame. So Evan, just first of all, can you just tell me what's been going on, what's going to be happening with the Hockey Hall of Fame?
Yeah, thanks, Jace. Well, for the first time in the Hockey Hall of Fame's 77-year lifespan, it's going to be changing. This year, they are going to be doing voting online. On this upcoming Wednesday, they're going to have a secure network where the 18 members of the Hockey Hall of Fame are going to vote online. This is due to the coronavirus, obviously, with different parts of the members in different parts of the world, with a handful in Europe and whatnot. It's been hard for travel. They can't travel to come vote, so they are having to change the Hall of Fame this year.
So do you think this is going to be the last time that they're going to be doing it this way?
No, I don't, Jace. You see, sports have started to take on the online perspective, especially this year with everything happening. We saw the NFL draft, the MLB draft as well, both going online, and both were successes. As well, the Hockey Hall of Fame president said that they're going to look to do more online things like this just to speed up the process. Now, when somebody gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, they need 14 out of 18 votes. And at times that can take very long. It's a very long process. So they're hoping by doing it online, they'll eliminate some of that time and just shorten down that process. So to answer your question in short, yes, I think we'll be seeing this in the future for sure.
So now that we know how they're going to be doing the selections this year, who do you think are some people that might be some possible inductees?
I mean, it's tough to really say, especially when you have 18 people all deciding on just a handful of spots. There's a possibility of having 4 male hockey players, 2 female hockey players, and 2 builders, or 1 builder and 1 referee, which I could see that being the case this year. I could see Carey Fraser going into the Hall of Fame. He's reffed the most games out of any NHL referee. Plus, he's known by a lot of people. He's known for his hair and for his showmanship. And especially as a referee, you don't see that very often. Another person I could see going in is first ballot, Jerome McGinley. Obviously, Calgary guy, so a lot of people in our area know him. Playing over 1,500 games, scoring 625 goals, 675 assists. He has the most points for anybody who's eligible for the Hall of Fame currently. And to do it as a first ballot, I for sure think that Aggie could do it. That's without even mentioning all his awards, the Rocket Richard Awards, as well as his Olympic medals and whatnot. So I think hands down, he is in. Another guy who I think could be on the line, but I don't feel like a lot of people have the same respect for him as I do, is Curtis Joseph, especially a guy who spent time in Edmonton, another Alberta boy there. He has the most wins for anybody who's not in the Hockey Hall of Fame with 454. As well, he has 51 shutouts and an Olympic gold medal. So his resume seems to fit for me.
Perfect. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today. It was great to get your insight, Evan.
Thanks, Jace.
Welcome back. Take a look at the 7-day forecast. We should see some clear skies and sunshine tomorrow with that daytime high of 20 degrees, 19 degrees on Sunday as we get ready for Father's Day there with a sun and cloud mix, 24 degrees on Monday with some sun and cloud mix continuing on, 27 degrees on Tuesday as we get a little bit warmer and get a little bit more sun as well. Possibility of some rain, of course, with 25% chances on both Monday and Tuesday, 22 degrees on Wednesday with some cloud coverage there, 24 degrees on Thursday and 23 on Friday.